Okay, I think we're live. Yep.
Okay.
And
Let's see if this is working.
Yeah, so we are live now.
Yeah. Okay. Boris.
Welcome everybody.
Yeah. Oh, we already have a few people joining. Boris, do you mind sharing this in Telegram? And
yes, I'll do that right
Yes, bro.
now. Let me just hide myself for a second while I do that.
Perfect. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. And we are doing on Mondays the weekly alignment sessions. I don't know which number this one is, like maybe the fourth time we're doing this.
Fourth or fifth.
Yeah. And we are going to wait for a couple of more minutes to see if we have more people joining. And we also have Mauro that will be here in a few minutes as well. We have a few updates we can share, and the idea of these streams is to always speak about something interesting that is going on in CK, Ethereum, and Aligned. And if there are any interesting questions, try to ask them and address them. And you can hear the news directly from the founders and not from just a blog post or whatever. And yeah, and you can see our beautiful faces every week. I don't know if that's something good, if it's a bug or a feature, but it is what it is. And we have Diego, Mauro, they're also part of the founders with myself and Fede, and we also have Boris from the ecosystem team joining us. And yeah, trying to update things, and hopefully in the future we can share maybe some live demos and that kind of stuff. You can see directly from us how we think about certain things and what we think about the whole situation with Ethereum and crypto in general and maybe the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Mauro. Hi, Mauro.
Hello, I hope I'm showing a dramatically appropriate moment.
No, you came at the right time because I was just giving a short intro of what we're doing, like why are we doing this and who's joining the stream. So you appeared precisely at the right time.
Amazing.
Mauro,
Okay.
your microphone is you might, I don't know if you want to change the mic settings to a different one. It's very echoey.
Maybe it's grabbing the headphones one and not the MacBook one.
It's grabbing the Mac one though. Is it better now? No.
No, we hear you like you're in a fishbowl.
This is strange because it's a Mac, but whatever. I'm going to change.
If you can speak a little high. No, now we can hear you very well.
Now I realize now that the Apple system is too intelligent and can detect any device, and it was on the microphone of my cell phone. So I read Apple and I was like, I'm using the microphone of my Apple Mac. But
it's funny because Mauro and I are just separated by a very thin wall. I think we are looking at each other, but we have a wall between. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're already 110 people. So again, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're doing each Monday this weekly alignment session. The idea is to spend some time updating the Line community and trying to address some of the topics over the last week and share insights, updates on the product, on things we're doing, and giving some space for you to ask questions and hear ramble about different topics. So yeah, to give a little more context, for those who do know us, Aligned is a CK verification layer on top of Ethereum. Our whole goal is to create infrastructure to accelerate CK as a technology on Ethereum and in many other places. And we built a first protocol, Aligned Fast Mode, that is similar to, I would say, a microservice that verifies proofs on top of Aligned and reduces the cost so developers can send their proof to Ethereum without having to pay for the cost of verification directly on Ethereum's block space. And this is running today as an ABS, and it has been running for almost 4 months now, maybe end of November, and it has been stable. And yeah, we're really happy with it. We will share more news around what we're going to build and how everything is going to play out soon. I don't want to give any spoilers yet. And one of the things we could start addressing, maybe Mauro, is how's the network is doing, if there are any big changes, and maybe we can talk about an update on the testnet, because that was a big topic for everyone on Ethereum.
But I have to keep everything spoiler free then? Is that...
Yeah, I think we shouldn't share too much about some of the things we have in plan. We can touch base on a few things.
Okay, you can come next Monday, and we can
Yeah.
give you maybe some spoilers, but for the timing, no spoilers. Okay, so yeah, we are bringing back the testnet. It's actually alive if you want to try it. We didn't announce it though. Like, expect that it might have some reliability issues because the operators are onboarding again. So we will announce whenever it is stable. We consider that it's very stable for you to use, but things are going up. You might to remember everyone a little bit about this. The problem was on Holesky. Holesky was operated. There was a big problem. Finality wasn't reached, so there was no consensus on which chain was Holesky. So we have like the multiverse of the RPCs, like saying, no, this I'm Holesky, the other ones, they are not it. So that took a long while to finish. A couple of days ago, Holesky went back online. Our nodes were connected to it, but then again, like some of services like Infura didn't have it. So that might hinder the operator. So all the ecosystem is kind of getting back online, and it's taking a little bit more of time, but it should be back really soon. Of course, mainnet was always working all this time, but the problem was just with Holesky. That on that matter, maybe say you want me to mention something else.
No, I think that's fine. I wanted to this was a topic we mentioned a couple of times, and I wanted to close it. Like we're working now on making the testnet work normally again. This was not an aligned problem, as Mauro mentioned. It was a problem with the testnet on Ethereum Holesky, and many other projects had the same issue. If anyone is trying to use the testnet, they can always DM us or send a message in the Terran group or on Twitter, and we can help you. But I do wanted to reassure that the mainnet is working fine. We don't have any big issues. Operators are being monitored constantly, and we are having more conversations around them if we see any performance issues. And yeah, so far things are looking great in terms of the infrastructure. We're seeing many ABSs joining the space as well, so we'll try to share what we know and try to meet some of these new people in the ecosystem. I don't know if there's anything specific we should mention about mainnet, Mauro.
No, I don't think we have too much to say about mainnet. There are some updates coming, but we can leave that for next Monday. Keep checking like maybe CK benchmarks. We have more data every time, but that's not related to mainnet. It will be related to some things, but then again, no spoilers here, so you will have to wait. But on the meanwhile, you can show some data because isn't one of the small pleasures in life is watching numbers and making graphics, at least for people like us.
Well, I am like pretty surprised that we are still above 5 billion in risk-take security with all the bear market and everything.
I pulled this up because I wanted to, of course, show off how much restaked ETH we have, but also just for people who are wondering about the testnet data. I wanted to show how to get to this. If you haven't found this before and you are doing some stuff with testnet, that's how you get to the Holesky aligned data.
And you have a button to turn again, like the night mode, the dark mode. It's now it's
Yeah.
better. I feel like a hacker.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might need to change a little bit the light mode because I think you could go blind with it. It's not something.
It shines too bright this time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we
we
designed it for dark mode.
no, we like darkness. In fact, black is like the official color of aligned after green.
Yeah. Yeah, if you like light mode, I'm sorry, but this is not the place for you. By the way, this is something that we didn't mention in any streams. We have a new website that has been, well, it's not that new now because it's almost a month old. If you want to understand more how Align works in a very quick way, I think the team that we hired for doing the front end did a really good job with our team explaining stuff here. So yeah, we're open as always to receiving feedback on this. Yeah, it shows some numbers of the network and then explains, I believe, with really good animations how things work. So yeah, I believe this is basically the update we should give in terms of where the network is and some of the basic stuff. What I wanted to address today with you guys is something that we have been discussing over the last few weeks. That is the state of CK. We have been doing some benchmarks, and I think we can maybe give an update on some of the stuff we found and talk about some of the things we're seeing in the industry as where things are heading and what problems do we see today, and also maybe draw a line of trying to explain people, hey, look, this is where CK is today. It's moving at this speed, and this is why a line is going to work on the problems in a specific way. So maybe Mauro, if you want, you can start explaining it again, because I know you already did this in another stream. What is CK benchmarks and what you guys have been working on from the engineering side?
Yeah. CK benchmark is a site that we are building. The idea is to have like reproducible benchmarks where of all the CK VMs. We are adding more examples and more programs to collect data. Uh, we really want this to be easy to reproduce, like to get your own data. Here you will see a lot of plots and numbers, but everything is uploaded. This is actually a Jupyter notebook with code, so you can run code and change things and check the values that you have. We have numbers on GPU and CPU. I'm quite satisfied with this. I think like most of the benchmarks that you see, they are either done or by the companies making a new prover and they kind of over optimize their own prover, or by other people, but it's not very clear sometimes which hardware we're using and which configuration of the provers. We noticed, for example, we talk a lot lately with Rick Zero, and they saw our benchmarks and they were like, hey, you can do better with our system, but you need to start tuning things. That kind of information is very hard to provide, and I think like most people ignore it. So for example, now we got a 50% speed up that is very legit on Rig Zero. Now we need to do another round, so yeah, check it out. We also added a small section at the end that it is related to proof size. It might be it's relevant for us as a network because it enables us to take decisions based on that, on how we will operate fast mode and slow mode. We are already testing. I think last time we didn't have the benchmarks of Ethereum blocks, so now we are proving Ethereum, and you can see how much time it takes to prove Ethereum. This is RCP benchmarks. That's RAS Saxin. No, it's not Saxin. Something like RAS Saxin prover, but it's not Saxin. whatever. So this is a mega gas against time. Of course, not all blocks take there is some linearity in the average block, where if it is more expensive, it takes more time to prove. But gas is not the right unit of computation for a prover. Like maybe a block is full of k-checks and it's more expensive, and another one is just a loop adding a number or whatever, and it's very cheap. So some blocks, even though like they are bigger, they are actually easier to prove than others. For example, 27 million gas, you may see it. It takes almost the same time to prove than the one that is 8 million. So that's because not all blocks are equal. Sometimes you can have a block that is higher, but it's cheaper to prove.
Yeah.
Did you wanted to say something, Boris?
No, me. Yeah, it depends on the operations you have. That shows you that precompiles give like an arbitrary like cost in gas, not related necessarily to its computational uh, power, the computational power required to compute it. So a block containing, I don't know, maybe 20 verification of gross 16 proofs is way more expensive than another block that, as Mauro said, just adds lots of numbers or does like some transfers. But we can get like some idea on the worst cases. But as you see right now with SP1, really, you can prove blocks like really fast. Risk zero has gotten like way better, as Mauro mentioned. So I think that it is not like weird to think that this year we may get to see like real-time proving or something that at least has like some latency, but not a big deal.
Yeah, and we are seeing like a big influx of teams. If you check like the CPU benchmark, we have Pico that is actually faster than SP1 for CPU in Ketchak at least. We didn't bench it on CPU with RCP because it's hard to compile, and we're trying to fix some weird issue. But in the places where we managed to bench it, actually it's very good. Where you can see that is overall faster than SP1, but it's still more efficient thing in cost and time to run it in GPU. So we will see when our Pico has their CPU implementation, we might get something similar. They are working on that. And you have other teams like Polygon, they are making their own CKVM. Well, of course, you have Lita that we still haven't mentioned, but it's on an issue, and we will add it. I think I'm missing some, right, Diego? Nexus. Nexus I now have a prover with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
screw on the back. So many teams are rushing to work on this and improve the tech. So hopefully this will keep accelerating and we get to real-time proving. I think the last estimates were saying like 6 months, maybe. So maybe less now, 4
Yeah,
months.
people were saying July. It would be nice for something like FCC to be able to say we have something like real-time proving. Of course, I think that is overly optimistic. I think it will take like more time. But already, if you just have a delay of maybe 2 minutes with respect to Ethereum, maybe you just don't care. Um,
One thing we should do, guys, is maybe I don't know if define, but maybe explain what do we mean by real-time proving, because maybe people don't fully understand what it is and what's the purpose of it. Like, why do we want it?
well, the good thing is if you could do like real-time proving, that means that when you are proposing the block in Ethereum, you are also generating at the same time the zero knowledge proof. And so when you post the block, you also have the proof. In fact, the validators could just, instead of re-execute, just verify the proof. Of course, for that to happen, you would need to generate the proof in less than 12 seconds, even
Yep.
less. Um, But well, you always have this issue that people are trying to play MEV games, and so they like try to take advantage and take longer to propose the block just to get more chances of extracting more value. But the good thing would be then that every block has a proof as soon as it's
It's
published, and
proposed.
so yeah. And in general, what that would mean is basically, or the best thing would be something like having like some recursive proof where you show that the new state is derived correctly from the previous one. And so that way, in order to sync, you don't have to look at what happened like ages ago. Just by looking the latest proof, you are sure that everything is all right.
So Mina
Yeah.
style.
It greatly simplifies the consensus, at least if your prover is totally secure and you trust it. You don't need to execute. If the things come with a proof, you can trust the proof. It also means that you will be able to launch L2 with less hardware. Uh, my intuition, though, is that people will actually keep some latency and have more throughput because it's a moving target, right? You can have real-time
Yeah.
proving at the speed of Ethereum, but maybe you want to be 100 times faster than Ethereum. So in that case, I won't be able to have it real-time, but whatever is, it is that. I think like right now it's not too clear. Some people use real-time proving as with another definition, but
Yeah, like keeping up with block production so that maybe they have a difference of like, I don't know, 5 minutes with the latest block or 10, but maybe you don't care because you're
if you go by
proposing.
that definition, we are already in real-time proving. It's like you need 20 GPUs. But we will see. Maybe it's like AGI that people say, AGI soon, and other people say, actually, this might already be AGI, and we just.
We just don't know.
Yeah. It has happened so fast that everyone forgot that this was actually the target.
I was
This
just
was
thinking.
impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was impossible before. It's like 20 GPUs to prove Ethereum is not a big amount. And it's like your cousin's GPU. It's not like very expensive ones. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I remember a few years ago, this was before I got into crypto, but I had some friends who were mining Ethereum, and they had like 5 GPUs in their apartment. And it was like nothing crazy, you know?
Well,
So,
maybe time to
yeah,
to
I
take
met
the dust out.
I met
Yeah.
a friend
Yeah.
who was mining Ethereum, yeah, and I didn't know
Yeah.
they had a very big rig, quite interesting.
I was just thinking with the real-time proving discussion, we should open a prediction market on Polymarket. And rigorously define real-time
We need to
proving.
define what is
Well,
real
I
time.
think that the only problem you have is that it would be nice. I think that Toronto is a bit cloudy generally. So you cannot take advantage of like solar powered GPUs because then you have renewable energy and you
Just
just
divide a
prove it.
couple of atoms. Divide a couple of
You,
atoms.
you, you want Boris with a nuclear power plant at
Yeah,
home.
nuclear Boris is going to
But
be.
he lives in Canada, so
You
they have
might
good
get
natural resources.
superpowers.
Yeah, I think our electricity is actually pretty cheap. There's a few
Yeah, and you
Bitcoin
have
mining
cheap.
companies in Canada, like relative to a lot of places. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
You might have a hydro because it looks like a place with rivers.
Yeah, we have a lot of hydroelectric power. We have a nuclear power plant not far from here. Solar, I'm sure, but it is cold in winter for a lot of the year, so it's mostly hydroelectric and nuclear, I think, but not sure.
Yeah. Going back to the real-time proving thing, I think what people should get from this is that CK is almost, I mean, or you could say it's already in a place what makes things actually cheap and is fast enough to offer a good UX. And the only thing that will happen from here is that the cost of operating all of these things is going to go lower, and it's going to be simpler also to start using them. One of the things I think it will be really cool with CK benchmarks is that we will be able to look back in a year and actually see a really clear trend of how things evolved during 2025. Because many of the benchmarks we had before, I don't think they were that complete in terms of offering a full picture. And they were usually made by the teams that are designing the hardware that is good, and that they tried in many cases to be neutral. But as Mauro said, there are a lot of nuances. And I think with this, we'll be able to offer something different. On the
Yeah,
CKVM side,
yeah, and
They don't even have to be malicious. I'm not saying that. Like they were
yeah,
very honest. I had some optimization that they were not even documented, and it was like there was no way that if you didn't have some kind of good relationship with the other team, and you went and you say, okay, let's sit a little bit and see how would you improve this. It's impossible. It's like there was no way. I can tell you which were the optimization, but they were not documented. Like, and you have to really knew the system.
yeah, that shows that a lot of work has to be done in documentation and everything so
Yeah,
that
that's
people
another thing.
know
yeah,
the right config parameters and everything. But if you come to think about it, uh, like 7 years ago, we barely had Starks. Starks were invented in 2018. It was like 2021 or something that we got the Cairo VM, but Stone Prover was not like really fast. If you come to think, maybe it could prove like 1 Ketchak per second. Now, 4 years later, we are talking about like 20,000. So we are talking about like over 10,000x. And
Yeah,
cost wise, it's been going like consistently down. I don't
yeah,
know, proving some things was like super slow. Now it's really fast. I think we still can get like several speed ups from some changes. Um, and I know that also people are starting to look at more CK friendly primitives that maybe can make like proving blockchain even faster. So in that sense, I don't know, the cost of just proving Ethereum in real time is going to be like kind of negligible. Maybe for the salary of just one engineer per year, you can get like real time proving for Ethereum. So that's kind of crazy.
is to put it in perspective. Like if you talk with the teams like doing optimizations now with CKVMs and that kind of tech, uh, for years we were optimizing more of the math, if you want to say it. Like it was like the math that was slow. Now the math is not the bottleneck. It doesn't matter. You have the team saying we cannot generate the thing that we need to prove fast enough. So now we have to move all the focus and do things like putting all the VM in the GPU because we cannot generate the data that we need to prove fast enough. Like we can prove it faster than what we can generate like the pieces of data that we need.
No,
Uh,
they need a faster emulator for RISC-V. That's the problem.
yeah,
Uh,
yes. Can you guys explain? I think recently, I don't know if they have a blog about this, but Succinct is doing a competition about this. There's something that from the Lambda side it has been has been talked
yeah,
a lot for over years. What is the
but
actual bottleneck when you're proving?
is I will give a short summary, but to prove the commutation is like you have to write down somewhere all your intermediate results. Like every time that you do a commutation, you have to say me what is the new state of the VM, and you have to keep all the state of the VMs, and then you kind of you prove that all the transitions of the states of the VM are correct. That generation of all the states that requires computing everything and generating, of course, all these big table is actually the bottleneck. In the fastest CKVMs, of course. Maybe there are other CKVMs that are still figuring out other things. But in the fastest one, this is the bottleneck. And
yeah,
you need
in
to have
fact,
something new.
yeah, in fact, this is something that already like 6 months ago or more, Jordi from Polygon was saying that their VM was like really fast, but the problem was like generating the trace. and that people, when they were doing benchmarks, were like just giving you the time needed to prove the trace, not the time to generate. So those benchmarks
Mm.
were kind of
Hmm.
not fair. But I remember talking with him like some time ago and saying that, and everybody's been working on right now on optimizing that. It's like, okay, we already know that Fry and Starks are like super fast. Um, of course, something that I've also been looking at is at the design of the VMs. I am still puzzled by why people are doing like some things. I understand it if you're using like a given field, but maybe with Mersenne primes, there are like some advantages that you can use.
Take
It's
care
kind
though
of
that
crazy.
the Snarkify is doing fine and it's not a Stark-based machine. Like so, we will see.
I,
Yeah.
I remember reading that Pico, the ZKVM from Brevis, which we've done some benchmarking on, they have a modular design where you can swap in different fields and stuff. Have you explored that at all with the tests, Mauro?
I think it has no. I haven't changed the fields because you have one that is better, so it doesn't make much sense to be changing them a lot. Uh, um, in particular, when you are not using Mercedes and they are not using Mercedes Prime, because Mercedes require a different drawer. You cannot just reuse a Stark one. It's Stark, but it's Circle Stark. I think Diego can go on more on that if you're curious. But haven't tried. The thing that it is kind of useful is the API is more like a pipeline of operation that you apply over a proof. So I think it's a little bit cleaner to do some kind of applications where let's say you have accumulated a lot of proofs of one type and now you have to continue the pipeline of processing and converting it in another form. That kind of thing is easier to do in Pico. In the other ones, it's too like black box, and you have to go to internals, and that's
Yeah, I think yeah, as you mentioned, they kind of exposed better the methods, uh, and you have like more control on the workload and everything. In the other cases, you have to go like a bit deep down to touch everything. So
Yeah.
the interesting things to see is that which optimization they did to kind of go faster than SP1. So, but they haven't revealed the trick. It's open source, so maybe we can go through the code at some point and figure it out. But you know them, Diego? You're looking to me like I know the tricks of how
yeah,
they fix this.
maybe I have to look at a little bit at it.
Okay,
Uh, I
we need to
I
watch.
also found like really interesting. Nexus published the specifications of their CKVM. So at least you have like the list of all the constraints, all the components. I've been thinking whether there is a way to optimize some of those things. Uh, because right now what I see is these VMs have lots of flags, and you have to prove that every variable is Boolean. I was thinking maybe there is a way to get rid of many things because really the VM doesn't have like that many instructions. You just have like 30 something or 40. So like finding a way maybe of simplifying that would be like super interesting. Um, of course, yeah, we have to check the tricks, but it's funny that even though we have like super fast VMs and everything, verification costs still
Yeah.
remain high, which means that, of course, aligned plays an important role because you can generate the proof really fast in Ethereum and everything. But the problem is, if you have to pay like $10 for a Grot 16 proof. So doing that for every block is kind of a lot. So I don't know, maybe unless Ethereum changes the cost of verifying CK proofs, I don't know. You need to do something else to be able to amortize all those costs. I would love to see something where you have like maybe cheap start verification, but again, I don't know.
I think
Uh,
I think it will happen. I mean, it's part of the roadmap, right? Like with native rollups, you should be able to have native RISC-V verifiers for these type of proof systems. That will be useful when you are trying to especially prove an Ethereum block, right? But with CK getting so cheap and it's going to become easier to start using it, I think Mauro and the team did a really good job with the tooling as well. Not many people, I believe, spend the time they did with all of these different type of CKVMs trying to make it easy to run them and find all of these configurations. So we will start seeing applications that are not trying to prove Ethereum in the future, that they will need they will have different needs in terms of verification. And you might go like way faster in Ethereum block and you will need something that can handle way bigger throughput, because the things are so cheap, and in terms of CK, just adding more hardware gives you more speed. Still the bottleneck is reaching a sort of consensus around if that proof is correct or not to doing certain actions. So I think we were right with our prediction at the start of 2024 when we were saying proving is not the bottleneck is verification, and we should start working on that. And I think we achieved it. We are very early still, but the thesis is the same one.
Well, but now we have the tool to build all the cool products and ideas we had,
Yeah,
RJ.
exactly.
Now we needed to build a line first. If not, every CK technology that we want to build has to pay like stupid amounts of money. And I think that will be part of the kind of things we may plan to do. I don't know, maybe when we release uh, the new roadmap.
Yes. I think what we can say is that one of the advantages I think we have as a team is that we know very well the state of CK. That's where we're sharing it. And at the same time, we're gaining all of this knowledge of how to use it, and that we have some cool ideas of what we can build with it. So we are going to start, fixing the things we see in CK in order for us to start making all of these applications and filling in the gaps of the CK stack, right? Of what things do you need if you want to start actually using CK as an infrastructure. And it's going to be really important because, as Mauro mentioned, the costs are not that high. You just need 20 GPUs to start having a really good proving time for Ethereum blocks, and that's just going down. And the only thing you need to do is add more hardware. So taking that into consideration, CK is almost here. Like it's people will just start adopting it, and it's going to be cheaper. And it's just at the same time where crypto is changing. We I don't think we're going to see anymore this world of a lot of bigger ones. I don't think the market has an appetite for that. And at the same time, we'll see many different type of companies that they will want to start building more on Ethereum for liquidity and for security. And the best way to use Ethereum is actually with CK. And that's the future we were building towards. And it's going to be cheap. Like you can get really good um really good cost for just like really good proving time with just 10K maybe a year or something.
Actually, now that you mention it, leaving aside the verification costs, there are so many applications that rely on very expensive computation maintained by economical guarantees. That means a lot of money
Yeah,
stake. That means a lot of money that you have to pay for the people like lifting heavy hardware and heavy amount of money. So probably a lot of systems can either upgrade or reduce cost by changing to something like CK Proving Online, or the competition might arise that is much cheaper because
yeah.
they are they are kind of legacy designs, like the designs from the future. It might make sense to have CK.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy. It's been like only one year or so since we have like or a bit more since we have like general purpose RISC-V VMs.
Yeah.
Things have been moving like really fast.
Yeah.
And I think that things will only accelerate now that the cost of proving and the hardware you need and lots of things are going down. I think that we will start like seeing new products, new things being built on. This is something we were discussing like recently. This is like building like the internet in the 90s. At first, yeah, I remember when I was little, I wanted to do things on the internet, and downloading an image was like painful. And if somebody like lifted the phone to answer, you lost everything. With broadband, you solve that, and you got lots of applications. So I think that with ZK right now, it's going to happen the same. It offers lots of guarantees, and if the extra cost you have to pay is negligible, and the guarantees it offers, then you start being able to build lots of applications. I think crypto is going to change a lot in this year and the next. People don't maybe realize, but it's going to change.
Don't pick the phone yet because we don't have the broadband. Like, we don't want Bitcoin to crash down because you try to answer a call or something.
No, I think the other interesting thing that we're going to see, especially I think people who join the stream uh, usually saying, "Oh, okay, all of these CK teams are not doing well," and of that. I think the CK industry is changing because before it was teams that have a very good knowledge of cryptography start using CK to solve a specific issue. Now we have teams, well, kind of like aligned, and some of these teams are building CKVMs that are offering solutions to people that want to start using this tech. And I think many people that were part of the last part of the industry are realizing their tech is getting commoditized a lot. And they haven't made any big changes lately, but we will for sure start seeing them this year. You no longer need hundreds of millions of dollars to create or start using CK. That's done. And that's good for the industry and for Ethereum. But it's going to change a lot the dynamics of all of these teams that they believe their moat was the tech, and now their tech got commoditized, and there are new people building stuff that are going faster than them. And I think, yeah, we will see a lot of things changing, and the main thing will be building the right tooling that all of these new market people will start needing. So how do you communicate this tech to CTOs? How can you have a DevOps team from a brand new company? I don't know anything about secret start using this tech. Um, yeah, the work will be more outside of cryptography than it has been. So that's good.
RJ, I wanted to double click on something you just said. Is Diego waving?
Bye,
Yeah,
Diego.
no, I have. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Yes, I wanted to say, I'm relatively new to the ZK space, but I've learned a lot from you guys over the past year or so. And you mentioned how people will sometimes say on Twitter, like, oh, ZK isn't doing well. And I've found that pretty funny because it seems like they're just looking at the price action of a couple of L2 like ZK roll-up tokens, and that's what they think ZK is. And I wonder how long it's going to take for that association to change when people realize ZK is not just a handful of rollups and their tokens, but a whole class of technology.
Yeah, I think it will change very quickly. That doesn't mean those tokens are going to do well. I don't know. It depends on each one of them, because what people associate with CK is actually a CK rollup or a specific thing. It's not the tech, and it doesn't make sense to price that tech, because what you need is to price a product. And I think it will happen really fast, because at some point it's going to be so easy to use, and everyone will start shifting towards this, that people will start getting caught off guard, and they will not realize how simple this is. And I think what people also don't understand is that in essence, what CK is selling a technology that allows you it tells you trust. And I think people are not measuring that we're going to live in a world where trust is going to be very scarce. And you don't have many tools in order to build trust around systems in a very fragmented world. Crypto is usually a tech that is really helpful, and CK is actually the best way. You can use it for many things, not only for just moving money, but computation in general. So I don't know. I don't want a robot in my house that could just change the software and kill me. I would like to have a CK proof for every single action that robot does and make sure it will not kill me when I'm sleeping.
Maybe you are the robot, Jose. Are we
Or maybe
sure?
I'm the
Like,
robot.
have you presented the proof?
I haven't. I think it would be very bullish for a line if I were a robot. That would be the plot twist.
Facts.
Or I'm an AI. That would be a great story.
AGI is here. His name is RJ.
Yeah.
Why do you think we ship so fast?
That's actually Mauro. Like, if someone should be taken into a Turing test, it should be Mauro. But anyways, I think we cover a lot of things, and what we wanted to share in every single week is more about these insights that I don't think a lot of people are doing. Like, we're extremely optimistic about the future of this tech, not only in CK but also in Ethereum. Maybe in another call we can explain why CK plus Ethereum and Ethereum plus CK is so important. And we know the only way to scale blockchains is with CK and rollups, and we know this technology is going to be extremely useful over the next decades. So yeah, we're working in order to make that real, so people can start using this, and we can start addressing real problems, and not just continue to build excuses to build infrastructure. Like, what we're doing is trying to build the highway for a verifiable future, and yeah, hopefully we start finding more solutions to the problems we find. And I think we're doing that. We're trying to find problems as well. That's why we are experimenting with a lot of stuff. If no one is experimenting, how we're going to find the problems that other people will face in the future? So if you see us do something completely crazy that has nothing to do with what we have been doing, is because of that.
That's
anyways,
good note to leave people with, RJ, because I think a lot of people have been wondering about roadmap and what we've been working on, and soon, announcement of an announcement. We'll have a detailed plan soon.
Yeah, we're just trying to be. I don't think our roadmap for sure is not conservative, but we're trying to be conservative on what we're going to share and how we're going to share it, so we don't confuse people, because we know all of these things are new and we need to find ways to communicate them correctly and people can understand what's coming up. But if you pay attention and you see what we're experimenting with and what things are we trying to do, what things we did in the past, I think it's very easy to understand what things will come up from all of this. All right, Mauro, do you have anything else to add?
No, I imagine some of the listeners maybe with sticky notes, like drawing lines, red lines, like finding the
reviewing the
secret plan.
pictures, reviewing the pictures from Fede's Twitter account.
It's like the secret must be here, like somewhere. All right. No, nothing else, nothing else. I feel like it has been a really good session.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
tuning in, everyone.